Good morning, students. In the last lecture, I floated one numerical to you regarding to the voltage stability and reactive power compensation. So the numerical was just I'll go through this. A three-phase 400 kV 50 Hz transmission line has a series inductive reactance of 0.30 ohm per kilometer and the shunt admittance of 3.75 into 10 to the power 6 s per kilometer. If the line is 300 km long, first determine its surge impedance ZC, propagation constant, ABCD constant, wavelength and SIL. The second part of this question is the sending end rated voltage of three-phase transmission line is 400. So this is given. Compute the reactance and the rating of an inductive shunt reactor to be connected at the receiving end if the receiving end voltage to be maintained at 400 kV on no load. The second part of this question, third part of this question is a three-phase load 800 MVA at 0.8 power factor lagging is connected at the receiving end of the line. If it is required to maintain a voltage of 400 kV at the receiving end when the line is supplying the load, compute MVAR and the capacitance of shunt capacitor for the purpose. The last part is compute the sending end voltage and regulation if series capacitor is connected in the middle of the line to provide 100% compensation. Now I'll just explain what we are supposed to do in this question. So the initial part of this question where you are supposed to determine the surge impedance, propagation constant, ABCD constant, wavelength and SIL. So it is very easy part because in the BTech and as well as in some of the MTech courses you might have gone through this. So of course we will find these parameters, but how we are getting the formula that you have gone through in your degree classes. Now the second part is what? Sending end voltage of three-phase transmission line is 400 kV. So this is given to us. Now compute the reactance and the rating of inductive shunt reactor to be connected the receiving end if the receiving end voltage to be maintained at 400 kV on no load. So it is expected that 400 kV voltage must be maintained now under no load condition. So definitely it is impossible without putting some reactors over there. Okay, now the third part is the a three-phase load is connected. So previously the second part the load is the line is without load or it is operating at no load. So definitely we'll have to put shunt reactor. But in this case when the load is kept and still we want to maintain 400 kV transmission receiving end voltage, so definitely I have to put the capacitor bank in a shunt. At the last part it is expected that line should be operate at 50% compensation at the middle. So what should be the value of series capacitor? So this is question related to the reactive power control and compensation. Now let us discuss this question, solution of this question. Now the first part as it is as I told that it is very easy part. So the inductance L can be calculated 0.30 to pi f50. So from this you can calculate 9.5493 into 10 raised to power minus 4 Henry per kilometer. So this is our net XL which is given to us and this is our L. Now the shunt capacitance can be calculated, which this is also given 3.75 into 10 raised to power minus 6 2 pi into 50 Hz. So it will become 1.1937 into 10 raised to power 10 raised to power minus 8 farad per kilometer. Similarly, if I am talking about surge impedance, it can be written ZC, which is equal to L by C. So it will become 9.1493 into 10 raised to power minus 4, 1.1937 into 10 raised to power 8. So this will give me 28284 ohm. Now phase constant, which is beta, can be written 2 pi f under root L C. So this can be written 2 pi 50 under root 9.5493 into 10 raised to power minus 4 into 1.1937 into 10 raised to power 8, and the phase constant will become 0.0011 radian per kilometer. Now from this we can calculate propagation constant J beta, which is J, and the value of beta can be kept 0.0011 per kilometer. Now ABCD constant can be calculated. A can be, because it's a long transmission line, so it can be written cos beta L, which can be written cos 0.0011 into 300, which can be written further. If you simplify this equation, it can be written 0.9498. Now as we know, then the transmission line parameter, A parameter is equal to D parameter, so the A will be equal to D, and which can be written 0.9498. Now the B, which can be written J ZC sin beta L, and if you put the value of beta L, ZC, we can get the value of B constant, that is 88.4889 ohm. Now similarly you can calculate the C constant, which is nothing but it is C equal to J sin beta L upon ZC. So if you put the value of beta L and ZC, we will get J sin 0.0011 into 300 upon 282, that is surge impedance. It can be written minus J.0011. Now the wavelength can be written 3 into 10 raised to power 8 upon 50. So it will become 6,000 kilometer. Now the surge impedance loading, which can be written V square R upon ZC. So that is the surge impedance loading, which can be written 400 square upon 282.846 56.6 megawatt. Now the question up to this part, it is very easy to calculate. Now the second part of this question is tricky, because over here we have to calculate the value of inductor, which we have to put on the receiving end side, so that we can maintain 400 kV. Because as we know, during the no load condition, what will happen, the voltage will be boosted up, and the receiving end voltage will increase by specific significant amount to the sending end voltage. So if sending end voltage is 400 kV, what will happen during no load condition, more than 400 kV voltage will appear on the receiving end, and it may risk the surges or transformer which is operating at receiving end. So this is actually called as Faraday effect. Now in order to mitigate this, we will put shunt reactor over there. So we have to find out the value of shunt reactor. Now the value of shunt reactor can be written. So first we will have to go through the value transmission line parameters and the transmission line relation between sending end and receiving end quantities. So over here sending end voltage can be written A VR plus B IR. So Vs is our sending end voltage, VR receiving end voltage, IR receiving end current. A and B are the constant. So the Vs can be written cos beta L VR. So this is our main equation, because IR is equal to 0 and the value of A can be written cos beta L. Now VR can be written 400 upon root 3 cos beta L. So the value of beta is 0.011 into 300 kilometer. Now the VR we will get, so the VR is equal to we'll get 243.2459 kV. So this is our phase quantity. Now you can make it, you can convert it into that quantity. By multiplying the root 3, you can convert it into line quantity. Now the second part of that inductive reactance. Now this is the shunt reactance which we have to connect. Now we have to find out the value of this JXHS. It means what? We are interested to find out we are interested to calculate the reactive or this reactance, the value of this reactance. Okay, so up to so far we have calculated VR, VS, IR. Sorry, IR, in this case IR is 0. Now we have calculated no load voltage, we have calculated actually. Now as soon as we are putting shunt reactor, some amount of current will flow over here. Okay, so receiving end voltage already is mentioned, we have calculated. Now the IR can be written VR upon JXH. Now in order to calculate the value of XHS, that is shunt reactor, as soon as we are putting it over here, the load current will flow, or you can say that IR current will start to flow. So that can be written IR equal to VR I XSH. Okay, now you put the value in this equation, which is nothing but it is showing the relation between sending end voltage in terms of receiving end voltage and receiving end current. So this is the sending end voltage, receiving end voltage, receiving end current. So the value of IR can be kept VR upon JXLH, and this is the value of ZC, this is the value of B parameter, and this is the value of A parameter. So this is transmission line. I have taken this equation from the transmission line parameters. Now if you put the value of IR over here, and finally if you get the calculation, what I will get? ZC sin beta L upon Vs upon Vr minus cos beta L. Now as per the requirement of the question, we have to maintain this receiving end voltage 400 kV. Okay, so in order to maintain 400 kV, so it will become 1, because sending end voltage is 400 kV, receiving end voltage is 400 kV. So over here we have to put the value of phase quantity. It means what? 400 kV will become 230.94 kV, and similarly 230.94 kV. So this equation will become 1. This value Vs upon Vr will become 1, and we will get ZC already we have calculated, sin beta L we have calculated already. So if you are putting the value, so I'll get the XLS is equal to 282.84 into sin 18.9076 upon 1 minus cos 18.907. So further I'll get 1698.6 ohm total value of this inductive reactance of this shunt reactor. Okay, now the shunt rating will become, shunt rating can be calculated, which is V square up into 3 upon the total inductive reactance. So this will give me the total shunt reactor rating, that is 94.1945 MVAR. Now further, if I am interested to calculate the second part of this question, so the second part of this question is what? Find out the shunt capacitor capacity of the shunt capacitor bank, so that we can maintain 400 kV when the receiving end is connected through it terminated through a load having 800 MVA capacity and operating at 0.8 power factor, so which is mentioned in the question. Now before that, before finding the value of shunt capacitor, first of all we'll have to calculate what should be the delta in that case if we want to maintain the maximum power flow over there. Okay, so and at the same time we want to maintain 400 kV. Again in this question receiving end voltage must be 400 kV. So as we know that active power is given by this formula, receiving end voltage, sending end voltage upon x sin delta. So it can be written x equal to Zc sin beta, which is already we have calculated, that is 19.6532 ohm. Now power angle for supplying real power. So our load is operating, load's capacity is 800 MVA and the 0.8 is power factor. So the real power which can be supplied to the load is 6440 megawatt. Now if you want to calculate the load angle for supplying the power angle or load angle for the supplying real power 640 megawatt, we can calculate by this formula by putting the value of Vs Vr in this equation. It can be written 400 into 400 upon 19.6532 sin delta 640. Now further delta can be written, if you simplify this equation, delta can be written sin inverse 640 into 19.6532 upon 400 into 400 equal to delta equal to 21.50. The reactive power flow from one end to another end can be written. Now the second part of this question is the reactive power flow. So this delta actually required in this question, and this equation I have taken from the load flow, that this is the reactive power from sending end to receiving end. This much reactive power will flow. Okay, and now the load is terminated by, this line is terminated by the load having the capacity of 800 MVA and operating at 0.8 power factor. So first of all we have to calculate how much reactive power will come at receiving end. So that can be written Q12 V square R x cos beta L minus Vs Vr x cos Vs Vr upon x cos delta 12. Now Q12 can be written, if you are putting the value of Vr, so just put the value, so 230.94 upon 19.6532 whole square cos 18.9076 minus 230, that is line phase quantities, 230.9401 into 230.9401 upon 19.65 cos 21.50. So that is our load angle between receiving end and sending end. Now this is our net answer of a reactive power which will flow from sending end to receiving end, that is 9.178 MVAr per phase. Now three phase reactive power at the load. So load will also demand certain reactive power, that is 800 into 0.6. So that is the total reactive power demand by load, that is 480 MVAr. So this power is coming from that side and this is our load power. Now how much shunt capacitor we have to put? So this reactive power per phase reactive power into 3 into the total reactive power which is demanded by load. So that can be written J3 into 3 into 9.1178 in minus J480. So the net reactive power which is required to maintain 400 kV voltage, because already we have taken over here in this equation Vr equal to 230.94. Both values of receiving and sending end voltage we have taken same. These are the phase values. These are the phase values of the voltage. So this much reactive power is required. Okay, now this much if you are now the capacity, if you are interested to calculate the capacity of shunt reactor, which can be written minus J 452.6466. So now if you solve this equation, MVR and capacitor reactance, so it can be written XC equal to VR square upon total rating of the capacitor, which can be written minus J354.7, and further based on this equation you can calculate the value of C. So it can be written 10 raised to power 6 upon 2 pi f 353.47. It is nothing but it is that much, 9.00. Now the last part of this equation is that is how much series compensation is required actually. Just I'll go through again what was the last part of this question. The last part of that question: compute the sending and regulation if the series capacitor connected in the middle of the line to provide 50% compensation. Okay, so now in order to calculate the sending end and other parameters of this question, first of all we'll have to calculate the total x dash. So that is nothing but ZC beta L. Okay, so already we have calculated this. Now we have to make it 50% because series compensation is what it means what we are putting series capacitor in the line. Okay, we are putting a line on the series compensation. So the capacitive reactance to be connected in the series for a 50% line compensation can be written XCSE equal to 0.5, or you can say divided by equal to 1 by 2, 91.6532 ohm. So this is total capacitive reactance is required actually in order to get the values of 50% series compensation. Now in order to calculate the receiving end current and in order to calculate the sending end voltage and regulation, first we'll calculate what is the sending end receiving end current, that is IR 800 upon root 3 into 400.85 8.8. so this is our receiving end current. Now with the 50% series compensation, so because line is operating at series compensation of 50%, so the net Z will become Z dash, it will become J X dash minus X C equal to J 19.6532 minus 45.82, and the net ZC we will get, that is J 45.8266 ohm. Now this is the Z parameter of this line. Now we'll calculate Y parameter. Why we are calculating? So that we can calculate the transmission line parameter, and just basis of that we can get the sending end voltage and regulation. Okay, now the Y can be calculated J2 by ZC 10 beta L by 2. So this equation will give me the value of Y, that is shunt admittance, and it can be written J2 by 282.84 and 10 inverse 18.90 upon 2, J 0.0021. Okay, now after getting the values of Y dash and Z dash, we can calculate the value of A, which can be written 1 plus Y dash Z dash and 2, and it can be written 1 plus J 0.021 into J 45.82 by 2, and it will equal to 0.9519. Now beta can be written Z dash equal to J 45.8226. So beta, so if you go through the transmission line parameter, the beta is equal to this, and the A will be equal to this. Now assume that per phase receiving end voltage VR is the reference vector, and the IR can be calculated 1.43, that is receiving end current, and this is the 0.8 minus J.6. This is our power factor. Now this is our net current 1.1547 minus J 0.8660 kilo ampere. Now after getting the value of IR, we can calculate the VS, which is VS equal to, this is our A VR B IR. So this relation already we have established in the previous part of this question. So after putting the value of VS, VR, IR and A and B, we will get VS equal to 259.52 plus J52.917, and this is our sending end voltage. So this is with the 50% compensation. Now the sending end voltage will become, if you are multiplying by √3, so we will get 458.7503 angle with the angle 11.52, and the regulation will become, percentage regulation will become 458.75 into minus 400 upon 400 into 100, and it will become 14.68. So this is the net voltage, the regulation. Now further, just I would like to tell you, after getting this value, just I would like to put one comment and one more I would like to float one questions to you. Suppose if this is for 50% compensation. Okay, now let's say if the compensation is moved from how much compensation we can keep so that we can safely work on the transmission line. You can see with the 50% compensation, we are getting the regulation 14.6. Now if I want to reduce this regulation from 14.68 to 10%, so how much series compensation I have to keep, or you can say what you will suggest in this regard. So that is your practice. You try to find out that, and if you are not getting, just let me know so that we can discuss further. Now in my next lecture, I am going to discuss the new chapter, that is transient voltage, transient stability analysis. So before just going through so in the next lecture we are going to discuss the transient stability, where we are going to discuss about the introduction to transient stability, what is the transient stability and how it is differ from the steady state stability. Then we will discuss the equilibrium criteria, what is the equilibrium criteria, and how this equilibrium criteria is helpful to determine or to analyze the transient stability. And then we will take 3 cases of a transient stability, that suddenly the mechanical input is removed, or some change has been taken place in the mechanical side. The second part will take that suddenly the loss of one line, okay. Then the last part will take the suddenly a short circuit has been taken place on a parallel lines, so whether the system will remain in under stable condition or not. And then we will discuss the numerical solution of swing equation, and then in the last we will discuss multi-machine transient stability analysis. So this is from my side, which I am going to discuss on the transient stability, and then we will discuss the transient stability controller and how we can maintain the transient stability of a multi-machine system, and in the last we will conclude this chapter. Okay, so meanwhile you just have a look of the transient stability. You just go through the various Google, you will get many notes on the internet also on the transient stability, and then we can discuss on a Tuesday class that what is transient stability. Thank you very much.